Let's get it, 580 Sports Talk coming at you on a Friday. It is a good Friday. It is Good Friday. And we are with you for the next 2 hours on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And we are streaming live on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on Facebook at WIBW News. Lots of ways you can be part of the show today, however you're tuning in. Thanks for listening to 580 Sports Talk. The gang's all here this afternoon. Dan Lucero, Brendan Rosinski, Spencer Dupuis. We'll take you until 5 o'clock today, at which point we'll hand things off to the Royals Baseball Network. Royals and Tigers, game 2 of 4 at Comerica Park tonight. A 5:40 first pitch. So pregame coverage beginning at 5 o'clock tonight here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. In the intervening 2 hours, we've got plenty of sports talk to get to. We'll do our best not to sound like a broken record about the Kansas City Royals, but it's been tough this week because they're not scoring any runs and they're not winning baseball games. And there's only but so many ways you can say the Royals didn't score any runs and they lost. But we'll try and think of some new ones as we recap last night's 6-1 loss at the hands of the Tigers in game 1 of that 4-game series as the Royals fall to 1-6 on their current 10-game road trip. Couple of things last night that I want to point out from the Tiger perspective that I know it gets tiring to preach patience, but the Tigers are being rewarded for their patience, and the Royals are hoping that at some point they will be as well with regards to some of their young hitters. We'll get into that. We'll look ahead to the rest of the Royals weekend. Cole Reagans tries to be the stopper tonight, just as he was his last time out on Sunday in Cleveland. We'll get to all of that a little bit later on in the show. Lots of Chiefs to get to today. Draft talk, the latest Chiefs draft intel from ESPN.com. I told you yesterday, starting to feel like the tea leaves are suggesting that the Chiefs are going to be active on day one and look to make a move. Well, now that's what folks over at the Worldwide Leader are hearing about Brett Veach's day one draft plans as well. We'll discuss and think about what a trade up might look like and for who specifically the Chiefs should be looking to trade up for. Also, we'll get Derrick's thoughts on all of that and more. Our Chiefs insider will join us at the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour today. Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com joins us every Friday on the show. He'll check in with us in about half an hour or so. We'll get Matt's thoughts on the latest Chiefs draft buzz, and we'll get his prediction because the next time we talk to him, round one will be in the books. So we'll get his, we'll get him on record with as official a prediction as he's willing to make 6 days out of the draft, who he thinks the Chiefs are going to come away with on day one. Plus, again, it is a shortened show today, so we'll cram all the Good Friday stuff into the 2 hours we have. We'll do a brief 580 Sports Talk headlines, including a playoff roundup. We'll crown a What Is Wrong With You weekly champion. We'll do On Second Thought, Change My Mind, all that good stuff as well. You are invited and encouraged, in fact, to interact with the show today. We want to hear from you. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can also interact if you are watching the show today on our YouTube channel, which again is called 580 Sports Talk. Why don't you go over there and subscribe, by the way, to the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. And if you are watching on the YouTube, there is a chat feature during the show, and we love hearing from our chatters in the YouTube stream. Hello to everybody jumping in today. Mark B's in early today. Trevor, Ryan, Mark H., Christopher, and everybody else who will join the fray today on the YouTube. We appreciate you being along and look forward to interacting with you folks throughout today's show. Again, the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. 2 more pieces of business to get to before we really hit the ground running today. Number one, be listening for your cue to call and your chance to win. We got another family 4-pack of tickets to PBR Knockout Kansas City. Want to go see some Bulls on April 24th at the T-Mobile Center. I've got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away during the program today. So be listening for your cue to call and your chance to win and go see PBR Knockout Kansas City. That will be next Thursday night. That will be April 24th. I have a 4-pack of tickets for those, and we will give that away. Also, it's the last day of the Choose Your Trip 2025 sweepstakes. Your last day to get registered for your chance to win a trip anywhere you want in the United States.
I know you're feeling Carson City, Nevada today, folks.
The littlest little city in the world, Carson City, Nevada. The capital.
It is the capital
of Nevada.
What about Boca Raton, Florida?
See, that is like an enjoyable place to go. I'm trying to think of like the least interesting place you could go. I think Boca would be fun, especially if you're Lane Kiffin.
An all expenses paid trip to Billings, Montana.
Now, see, if you like nature, I bet you'd love Billings.
I mean, you're adjacent
a certain
to
kind
it.
of nature.
You're adjacent to nature. I've been to Billings. I played in a Legion baseball tournament in Billings many, many moons ago.
What's the most boring place you've been to?
Billings, Montana. No.
What seems boring was St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Fair enough.
I was only there for a few days, but it did seem very boring.
I get it.
Again, I also didn't have a car to drive around in, so it could
most
be.
Places are boring then, right?
Yeah, if you don't have a car to drive around.
Billings, Montana was so boring. We almost got kicked out of our hotel. It was
Legion I've heard that
trip.
story.
Yeah, we almost got kicked out of our
Billings.
hotel because we were trying to play a prank on a couple of our parents that involved pretending one of our players had drowned in the hotel pool. Not a real cool prank.
What about we send you to Jamaica, Queens?
That'd be fine. I bet you get a good chopped cheese sandwich.
That's where the song Combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell is based on.
Is that right? Is that where the original Combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell?
No, there were two that you could see each other from.
Okay.
As the song goes on, they talk about, well, I'm at the Combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. No, I'm at the Combination. It's because you could see each other.
Shout out to Das Racist. Anyhow, your keyword this hour to go enter at 580wibw.com is spa. S-P-A. Spa.
What is that short for spaghetti?
As in do, re, mi, spa, so la, ti, do. Spa is the keyword this hour. Go enter at 580wibw.com. Enter your information. You will be registered for your chance to win a trip anywhere in the United States. And folks, if you've already entered with a keyword, you can keep entering with the different keywords each hour. You're running out of chances, but the more chances you give yourself, the better your odds of winning. So
that's one of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The "What is your spaghetti policy here" episode.
Yeah, that saw that all over social media after that guy was eating spaghetti in the front row of the Warriors playoff game the other night.
I'm going to go quickly here. There's a part of that episode at the very end. They're going through Charlie's dream book, his various insane ramblings from his dreams that he then wrote down in a notebook. And one thing he comes across is something called worm hats. A guy in his dream, Hans Vermit. He's got vermits. Okay. I named a fantasy football team once, worm hats, and won my championship. Only one I've ever won.
There you go.
League's been going on for 15 years. I've only won it once. It was with that as my team name.
Clearly, you should have stayed with the name.
Yeah, I should have. Next year, finish second to last.
Yeah, you should have. The name had the magic. Anyhow, if it sounds like we're trying to put off talking about the Kansas City Royals, you might be onto something.
Not only are they bad, they're not fun.
Yeah, last night was a rough watch. 6-1 the final score. The Tigers scored 3 in the third, and it never felt from that point like the Royals were going to win the baseball game. Although, look, when you leave 10 on base, that means you got 10 on base. You even got more than that because you pushed a run across, and you got more than that and had some double plays. The back-breaking double play the Hunter Renfroe hit into in the top of the 8th. We'll get there. But once again, it's the Royals missing opportunities to score, and they had one right off the rip. Jonathan India swings at the first pitch of the game in singles, and Bobby Witt Jr. draws a 5-pitch walk. So, okay, got the big dogs coming up. Chance to put a marker up early, put a number down, back your number 5 starter, and Vinny flies out, and Sal flies out, and Michael Massey strikes out, and the moment is gone. Later in the game, top of the 4th inning, Michael Massey, 1-out single. Michael Garcia would walk. Kevin Biggio's hit by a pitch. I would have pinch hit for Drew Waters. I know what Drew Waters is. That was the moment. You got to go try and win the ball game. I know what Drew Waters is.
I'm so sick of watching him in a Royal uniform.
Can't hit, man. He can't do it. Struck out on 3 pitches. Kyle Isbell flies out, and that moment is gone. Bobby Witt Jr. doubles with 1 out in the 5th. Runner in scoring position for Vinny Pasquantino. He at least moves him over with a ground out to first. Sal gives one a ride, but flies out to center field. Another opportunity. Runners in scoring position in the 6th. First and second. 1 out. Womp, womp. It's 8-9 in the order again. Drew Waters flies out. Kyle Isbell strikes out. The moment's gone. 8th inning. Royals put a run together. Perez walks. Massey singles. Had 3 hits on the night. Garcia singles hard up the middle. Salvi scores. It's 4-1. Brisky comes out of the game and right to the injured list, it turns out. He was put on the 15-day IL today. Bo Brisky, one of their more reliable relievers. Tommy Kahnle comes in. Hunter Renfroe is in the game because he had pinch hit for Biggio in the 7th, a little platoon advantage, and that worked because he walked. But now it's Hunter Renfroe facing a right-hander, and he grounds into a double play, and Drew Waters grounds out. And once again, the moment is gone. The Royals are not able to put the big hit together. And when you go back to last season, why the Royals felt like in the best of times a decent offensive team is because they didn't miss those opportunities. And now they are finding every possible way to miss those opportunities. And it feels like that's kind of how it goes for a team that's in a slump as bad as Kansas City is, where every time it feels like you're starting to rattle the opposing pitcher's cage, up steps your bottom of the order. And you can't extend the inning and get it to the top and get it to your best hitters with a chance to really do some damage. It did not help matters, frankly, that Reese Olson had a really good changeup last night. And if I'm a pitcher with a really good changeup, I love the thought that I'm facing an anxious lineup that can't get anything going, because that pitch was really good last night for Olson, but it was also like the perfect thing to throw guys who were kind of starting to lunge out a little bit, swing out of their shoes a little bit, trying to undo the slump, undo the struggles of this road trip with one swing. Add it all up, and another 5th starter-ish outing for Michael Lorenzen. Let's call it what it is. And the Royals lose and are now 1-6 on this road trip. And again, I say it as I said it yesterday, you got to win 2 in Detroit just to have a bad road trip. Anything short of that, and you're going to come home with the kind of record, even though you should have the advantage of getting to have a day off at home and then get the woeful Rockies, the only offense in baseball worse so far at scoring runs than the Kansas City Royals on a per-game basis. That should be a get-right opportunity, but even then, you go out and you lose 2 of the next 3, or all 3 of them, which, again, the way the bats are going right now, that's a possibility. That puts a record on the board that makes something drastic a possibility. The kind of maneuver that you don't typically see early in the season. Like guys going up and down from AAA to the bigs, maybe a change in leadership in the hitting room, in the batting cages. That's the range the Royals have put themselves in with the struggles of this road trip.
I said it yesterday. My worry is that I just don't know how much of this can be fixed. I think there's a couple of guys who can. I think Salvi is going to be all right. There are obviously concerns, and the older he gets, the longer the slumps are. You're going to just have to ask more questions, obviously. But there are also underlying metrics that would lead you to believe he is going to end up being okay. I was just looking at him earlier this morning, in fact. I gave you the stat yesterday that in terms of the number of times he's squaring the ball up per StatCast, it's not great, although he did it a couple of times last night. His average exit velocity, the percentage of the time he's hitting the ball hard, things like expected batting average and slugging, they're actually all really good. And you might say, okay, expected. Well, I want to actually see it. Yes, I understand. The reason those things are valuable is it's more of a predictive metric than it is an actual expression of what he has been so far. And when you hit the ball as hard and to the parts of the field he's hitting them to, as he's hitting them to, you would expect over time he's going to have better numbers. So I'm actually not worried about Salvi over the long haul. I think he's going to be fine, even for a catcher at age 34 with not a lot of production so far this year. You want to talk about the underlying stats for Vinny?
No, I don't.
Well,
I know they're bad.
Too bad, because I got them, and they are all bad. Expected batting average, bad. Expected weighted on base, bottom third of the league. Bottom half of the league in exit velocity, how often he barrels the ball, hard hit percentage. It's all bad. He's got good bat speed, and he doesn't strike out much. Everything else is butt right now for Vinny Pasquantino. You want to talk about the guys we know are bad? Nope. Even I won't go that far. I'm not pulling up those pages. It's not worth it. That's why I have worries about how many of these problems can be fixed right now. I would love if that drastic move was, we're going to trade a guy in AAA and go get a major league bat. We're going to have to move one of our few legit prospects to go get a major leaguer now because we feel like we can be a playoff team and we don't have enough bats. I would love if that was the outcome here. I don't know that it will be.
It's not every year. It very rarely happens that somebody like the Padres went and got Luis Arraez like the first week of May last year because he was on the Marlins. It's the most unserious franchise known to man. They would do that kind of thing. But, like, again, the only teams that
I would take a singles merchant right now, let me tell you.
Yeah, the only teams that are completely dead and buried right now in Major League Baseball are the White Sox and the Rockies, and you don't want any of their hitters because they all stink. Like, that part of the equation is not something you can address. Like, you're not going to go out and trade for a proven big league bat on May 1st. Like, that's just not the kind of thing. You're not going to come home from the road trip with a new 5-hole hitter. Like that's not the kind of fix that is going to be made. And when you watch Detroit, when you watch them last night, you see the virtues of having some patience. Right now, their best hitter is Spencer Torkelson. He is hitting the cover off the baseball. Spencer Torkelson, former number 1 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft, spent almost half of last season at AAA. As a guy, the year following, a year where he hit 30 home runs. He had 31 home runs in 2023. And in 2024, spent almost half the year in the minor leagues. Like, they had to straighten him out. He was worse in every way in 2024. And so far this year, he's got an OPS over 1,000. Hitting the cover off the ball. He's still only 25 years old in his 4th season. The Tigers were patient with him, and that patience appears to be paying off. Riley Green, all-star last year, in a miserable slump going into last night. Busts out of the slump with a couple of hits and a couple of runs driven in. That's the patience, the short-term patience, right? Just knowing that a guy where the back of the baseball card says he's a good player, eventually the numbers and the production are going to reflect what he has been. That's the only kind of patience that the Royals are afforded right now. They have to be patient with Vinny Pasquantino and trust that eventually his numbers are going to match what's on the back of his baseball card. Same with Salvador Perez, same with Jonathan India. But the back end, they needed a hitter to take a step forward. And we're now 20 games in, halfway to Dayton Moore's magic number of 40 games where you kind of know who you are at the 40-game mark. And we have not even seen the barest hint, unless you want to give Maikel Garcia some credit. Garcia's been fine, but we have not seen the barest hint of anybody else being able to take a step forward as an offensive player. This is what the Royals had to bet on, and so far that's a losing proposition. But again, as you saw with the 2 big stars offensively for the Tigers, those are guys who benefited from patience. The Royals are just going to have to hope that their patience ends up being a virtue here in the short term, because that's the only recourse.
There's no, at this point, you shouldn't be winning on your number 1 starter's day, and that's it.
Yeah,
and it feels like that's what's going on.
Which, thankfully, that is tonight.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what the recourse is here other than just they're gonna figure it out because they have to figure it out. And yeah, I give Garcia some credit here. He really is hitting the ball hard. I mean, top 10% of baseball in terms of how hard he hits the ball on average. That's pretty good for a 6'1", 180 infielder to be hitting the ball that hard every time up.
And he's always hit the ball hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is very impressive, and he's been productive this year. He has outlasted the, he loves hitting in March stuff. And I'm very appreciative that Maikel Garcia has been able to do that,
the
but
numbers,
it's still not enough.
The numbers for him now look a little bit more like his 2023 numbers, but with a little bit more power. And that's the best case scenario, I think, for a player like Maikel Garcia. And look, carrying an OPS around 750, I will take that. You need those guys. That is above league average production at this point in 2025 Major League Baseball. A 750 OPS. If you had 9 guys like that, you'd have a pretty damn good lineup.
Yeah.
If the If the Royals had fewer problems, this would be less funny, but they've got so many issues ahead of this. It's very funny. Right now, according to base running value, I'm just digging around Baseball Savant trying to find anything positive right now. According to base running value, do you know where Michael Garcia ranks in Major League Baseball?
He's 1 for 3 on stolen bases, so I'm guessing he's pretty low.
Last.
Oh, man. He was 37 of 39 swiping bags last year. He's already been caught this year as many times as he was all of last year.
When you consider all the things that go into StatCast's base running value, stolen bases, stolen base attempts, giving away outs on the base paths, taking bases when necessary or when you should, etc., there has been, so far, nobody worse on the base paths in Major League Baseball than Michael Garcia.
And that speaks to something larger, and like you could really dig into it, but it does feel like fundamentally they're not playing. It's not just they're not hitting. The pitching's been fine. It doesn't feel like they're playing good baseball. The defense hasn't been as sharp. Base running hasn't been as good. They're not taking first to third. They're not, moving runners up with some of their outs offensively that they're making. It just doesn't feel like real good baseball. And when you add that all up, it's hard to watch. And like we talked about yesterday, you're tightrope walking every game if you're a starting pitcher, feeling like, oh man, like I'm sure Lorenz had given up that 3 spot early in the game, felt like I just lost our team the baseball game because we can't get 3. Like why should I think these guys are going to get 3 for me tonight? They had a golden opportunity in the first and they let it go by the wayside. Why should I think they're going to get me 3? So it's a tough spot to be in. The good news is Cole Reagans, as we laid out all the way back on Monday this week, has been outstanding pitching following a Royals loss. They will need him to be outstanding again tonight. If they are going to snap this losing streak, they're going to need him and Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha to really throw the ball well this weekend to have a chance to have even a bad road trip. 3-7 is a bad road trip. At 3-7 after 1-6 to start, that would actually feel pretty good going back home to play Colorado.
Yeah, it certainly would. This is a topic that we can get to at a future date. Hopefully, I hope this is not a topic we have to address at a future date this season because I hope the Royals turn it around. However, Mark put this into words that I think are worth at least noting here. The Royals farm system was once a model. This is in the YouTube comments. Now it's a disaster. It is unfortunately a bummer that you can't just say, like right now, if you were to say the Royals are going to call someone up to fill a void, and it might be a little bit early, but maybe this young kid can provide a spark. You go, wow, Cags? Well, he still needs some time. You still need to incubate that one. That's it.
Yeah, I don't. No.
Let's give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, fine.
2-3 years to put it back together again. Like there are some interesting bats in the lower levels of the Royals minor leagues, but those guys are not saving you on April 18th, 2025. If you're looking for saviors from the minor leagues, those are a ways out. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with a quick round to change my mind. Matt Derrick's going to join us bottom of the hour to talk Chiefs. We've still got a lot of show left and a short time to do it. We're done at 5 today here on 580 Sports Talk. Ryan on the YouTube comments says tickets for the Royals-Rockies series should be free. You should pay by the run. That's what I think they should do. They should do a promotion where you pay by the run scored.
It's like those Coastal Carolina football promotions they're doing. Free concessions if you pay to get in.
Yeah, something like that. Now that's
what they do for basketball. If you buy season tickets and their men's and women's teams combined for 35 wins, you got your money back on your season tickets. Spoiler, they didn't. But that should be like what you get to do for this Royals-Rockies series. Like, buy a ticket. If they don't hit the over, you get your money back.
I'll be there Thursday afternoon. I'll be at one of the 3 games. Look for the guy in the Dante Bichette jersey if you're at the K that day. That'll be me. Paul makes a good point in the YouTube comments as well. Of all the reasons not to call up Jack Caglione, my biggest one is don't call him up into the current situation. Hitting, vibes, record all need to be way better to take the pressure off of Jack. That's exactly correct. You don't call him up to be the savior.
Yeah.
You call him
Too
up
much
to
pressure.
You call him up to be additive. You called him up right now after not even a month at AA. Then you're asking him to save your season, save your lineup. And that's just not a good outcome for anybody. It's time for a round of Change My Mind. And my change my mind. The Royals break out tonight behind Reagan's. The offense breakout is a relative term. I don't think they're going to score like a dozen. But the Royals have their best offensive game of the road trip behind Reagan's tonight.
Why?
Yeah.
Confidence, knowing you got your ace on the mound, and knowing that you don't need to squeeze the sticks to sawdust. And number 2, they did leave 10 guys on base last night. Like,
It did.
You know, something's got to have a ground ball with eyes, or a duck fart that falls in front of the left fielder. Something's got to go right for these guys at some point. Why not tonight with Cole on the bump?
All right. I'm going back. I'm apologies, but I got to go back to the old me here. I'm digging through the numbers here on Jackson Jobe. Super, super, super great prospect for Detroit. He is walking a lot of guys and not striking out many.
Yep, a lot of contact to be made. A lot of contact.
Although the Royals haven't had a problem with getting overpowered. You brought that up yesterday. Fine. This is my last opportunity for you, Royals. I'm done thinking you're going to bounce back if you can't do it tonight.
Let's do a quick change my minds for you guys. Go ahead, Brendan.
All right, change my mind. This is a little tease for our 4:00 hour segment. Matt Verderam was wrong on Monday. The Chiefs are going tackle first round. Whether they should or not, they're doing it.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
I agree with him. I don't think they paid Jalen Moore that kind of money not to see if he could be a starting caliber left tackle.
Especially because of their cap situation.
I don't know that I believe it, but stay tuned for the 4:00 hour.
Spencer, go.
Last season was a fluke. I'm beginning to think so for the Royals.
Way too early. Way too early to say that. 20 games in. Way too early to say that.
They still have a perennial MVP candidate and a perennial Cy Young candidate.
And they had a stretch like this last year against the toughest part of their schedule. We remember June.
That's true.
Yeah, they had a lousy month of June, and even lost games against the teams they were supposed to beat in that stretch. So you go through stuff like this. You gotta ride the wave. Matt Derrick is next, talking some Chiefs on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, who covers the Chiefs for ChiefsDigest.com. You can find him across all manner of social media using his name, Matt Derrick. He joins us Fridays here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, how has your thinking about what the Chiefs are going to do to attack the 2025 draft evolved in the last week or so? Have you had any epiphanies? Are you starting to read some tea leaves in some different ways? In what ways has your view of the Chiefs draft strategy evolved recently?
Pretty much, Dan. Every time I think I have it figured out, I learn a new piece of information that then makes me question everything I already know. So I feel like it's this year's draft is just as much of an enigma as every other year, and especially when you got a team that's drafting at 31, because who in the world knows what's going to happen between 1 and 31?
How certain are you that they're going to pick 31st? They're going to make the 31st overall pick? Because I'm starting to feel like it's more likely than not that whenever the Chiefs pick first in the draft, it's not going to be at number 31.
I mean, I've pretty much accepted by default that the Chiefs will almost never pick in their draft spot. I mean, it's almost like an extraordinary reason if they will. What we're just all waiting for is the first time that we get the narrative of Brett Veach is going to trade back to finally come true, because even Brett yesterday, when we were talking to him, kind of, it was like, hey, my instinct and my, attitude is to be aggressive and always move forward. So I was even thinking this, I mean, if I'm one of his lieutenants, if I'm Mike Bradway or Chris Shea, probably if you feel like you need to move back, your best bet to sell it to Brett Veach is, Brett, you need to make an aggressive move. You need to pick up a 2026 second. Be aggressive and go get that pick, and just move down 7 spots, the 38 to get it. I think that's probably the only way you can sell Brett Veach on a trade to move back, because his gut instinct is to move forward every single time.
How far forward do you think it would be likely that the Chiefs move? I don't know that they've got the stroke to make a big jump, or maybe even the need to make a big jump, but if they were to make a leap forward, would it look a little bit like the Xavier Worthy trade last year, where it's just like 4 or 5 spots? Or do you think it's feasible they could make a bigger jump than that?
I mean, really, I think that how far they could jump up is probably limited by that extra 3rd round pick. I mean, I think that's as far as I think you could arguably go. If they want to move back and pick up more capital, then I could certainly see that, Brett Veach's philosophy behind that would be, if you move back and pick up a few more picks elsewhere, then you have the capital to maybe move around the board in the 2nd and 3rd round when you got those 3 picks later on. So maybe you don't have to stick at 63, 66, 95. Now maybe you can move up at those places if you move back from 31. But, they have that extra 3rd round pick. So there's a logic to maybe them being able to move up into the mid-20s if they need to. But then you run into the point which, Brett Veach was kind of making yesterday, which is that they got like maybe 12 to 14 players that they've got 1st round grades on. What is the likelihood that if you've got that few players with 1st round grades, that there's going to be somebody available at 25, 27, 29 that would be worth making a move up for? Otherwise, you're making a move up for a player you've got a 2nd round grade on, unless there's a player that you've got a 1st round grade that falls for some reason. And Josh Simmons is the only one I could possibly think that it could be in that kind of ballpark. If they got a 1st round grade on him, despite the injury, and he falls, maybe that's the guy. But I don't know. I have a hard time really trying to make the case, about who else you would move to go up to get if you've got that few players that you think are 1st round draft picks.
Matt Derrick is our guest. He covers the Kansas City Chiefs better than anybody and does so at ChiefsDigest.com. He joins us every Friday at this time on the program for our Chiefs Insider, with Matt joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. To follow up on that point, Matt, how high do you think what would be how high the Chiefs are willing to jump up to get somebody who is an elite talent, a great fit, maybe slips a little bit down the board? Is it somewhere in the early to mid 20s, which I think is a tradable range, maybe with Green Bay and Minnesota? Is it, we see a player we love, we have to have him, we're going to make a jump all the way to 15, 16? How high do you think would be the maximum height for a Chiefs jump trade-wise in the draft?
Yeah, I have a hard time making the case that they could jump into the top 20. And hey, let's face it, if they're going to jump into the teens or into the top 20, it would be for a left tackle. I mean, that's the only thing that you would really arguably make. Could you make the argument for an edge rusher? Maybe. I mean, if you're going up for like the number one defensive tackle, who's an interior pass rusher, maybe. But there's only premium, really truly premium number one positions that you would be willing to pay the price to jump that far. Because let's face it, I mean, if the Chiefs were going to be jumping into the top 20 to make that kind of a leap, it would probably not require just this year's first, but probably next year's first too. So that's why if you're going to make that kind of jump, I mean, it probably would have to be for a left tackle. I'm just not convinced that there's a left tackle in this draft that's worth making the move up for. I mean, if Brett Veach said that he didn't have any left tackles with the first round grade this year, I'd believe him, because there's just a dearth of left tackles this year. There's a lot of right tackles, and there's a lot of players who will probably be guards in the future. Even a guy like Kelvin Banks from Texas, that a lot of people think is maybe one of the top 3 tackles in this year's draft. There's plenty of people you'll talk to who think that his high end is guard and playing on the interior. So I don't think a real slam dunk. So I have a hard time making that argument. But Brett Veach is pretty consistent. I mean, if they've got a player that they like, once they fall past 20, he's willing to go make the jump. I mean, Trent McDuffie was a great example of that. And that was a player that they had a first round grade on, fell. Now, they had a lot of draft capital because of the Tyreek Hill trade. So that's what enabled that move. They don't have that much capital right now. So that's why I think that a jump that big is probably a little bit more iffy. But again, if they needed to move up 5-6 spots, they could do that. It would just cost them a little bit, but it wouldn't hurt too much.
Let's head over to your website, ChiefsDigest.com. We're right at the top right now. You've got a mock draft up. Did you do this one with Nick Jacobs, or was this just you solo?
This was just me solo. So my first one. I usually do a few mock drafts leading up to the opening round, and the first one I always do is just to see the lay of the land. I mean, no trades, nothing like that, just to kind of see what markets are out there and everything. And so this was the first official one.
All right, so I didn't know where to give credit, because I'm telling you, and I'm not making this up, this is one of my favorites for the Chiefs that I've seen going all 7 rounds. We do a bunch on the show every week. This is one of my favorites I've seen. So if you haven't gone over yet, head to ChiefsDigest.com. Go check out Matt's new mock draft there. All picks for the Kansas City Chiefs. I won't give away the whole farm because I want people to go check it out, Matt. But what's your favorite pick for the Chiefs in your 7-round mock draft at the website right now?
Just probably because he's a little bit of a draft crush, but I probably jumped a little early. I had to grab Jacob Parrish, getting him at the beginning of the 3rd round from Kansas State. Got to talk to him leading up to the draft. We did an interview with him on the 41 is the Mic podcast. Great young guy, fast, ran a 4.35 at the combine. Really, I mean, lit up the combine. He had a great performance, and and hearing him just talk about playing the position, he sounds so much like Trent McDuffie. I mean, both of them are undersized guys. Parrish is a little bit smaller, like maybe like a half inch or so. Not that big of a deal, but, plays with that shame chip on his shoulder as far as just, playing physically. He is a really good press man corner, but I think he can handle zone as well. K-State asked him to do a lot of things. He's been very well coached. I think he could come in and play the slot day one. And I think he's a potential every down starter, inside, outside flexibility. I think there's a lot to like there. So he's one of my draft crushes. So yeah, I probably like that one the best.
I know he's got a lot of fans in the draft space, and I know a lot of fans locally too, obviously being a K-State guy. I love that you got Quinshon Judkins, the running back from Ohio State, at the end of the 2nd round. I love that, in fact. Your 1st-round pick in this mock draft, though, Walter Nolan, the defensive lineman from Mississippi. Dan is a big fan of one Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. What do you like about him should he be there at 31?
Yeah, I mean, to me, and Brett Veach mentioned one of these things is, hey, if you're going to move up, one of the things that you would probably move up for in the 1st round, if you had to, is a 3-tech pass rusher, and that's what he is. I mean, to me, could be the heir apparent for Chris Jones. Chris Jones could be 31 this year. You've got to start preparing for life without him. Walter Nolan's a young guy. He's only 21. The biggest knock on him has been that maybe there's some maturity issues, but that's never really been an issue for the Chiefs. I mean, they feel like that if maturity is your problem, they can fix that. And obviously, Chiefs have plenty of guys who've had some maturity problems that they cleaned up. Travis Kelce, chief amongst them. So that wouldn't be a worry for me. But he gets into the backfield. I think he had 14 tackles for a loss last year. That's productive. And the Chiefs, they need not only production, they need depth. One of the reasons why this team struggled, period, and certainly struggled in the Super Bowl, they didn't win in the trenches, and they just really didn't have as much of a pass rush push and punch as they had the last couple of seasons. So Nolan would immediately beef that up, and having him out there with Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, I think would be a terror trio.
We're joined by Matt Derrick here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline, and your third round pick, edge rusher Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. You still have him on the board at that point in the draft.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise to me. Using I use the Pro Football Network draft engine, mostly because I really like the fact that it's got a fairly realistic trade module. There's a few out there that if you want to get crazy, you could probably end up with 25 picks because the AI will just keep offering you draft picks. So. Every board's a little different, and Sawyer on Pro Football Network's board, he's a little bit lower than in some other places. I don't think that he will probably be there at number 95. He could be. Was seriously considering him maybe at 66. What it was kind of to me, it was either between him, the Boston College right tackle Ozzie Trapillo, maybe a receiver like Jaden Higgins from Iowa State, or Sawyer, and since Sawyer was still there at 95, he was the only one that was still there at 95. So to me, that was a pretty easy selection. I think it's interesting that Dane Brugler at The Athletic even compares him to George Karlaftis as far as their personality goes, and that's another reason why I think he could be a really good fit for the Chiefs.
Matt Derrick covers the Kansas City Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com. Go check out his latest 7-round mock draft. Of course, he'll have some other content going up in the 6 days leading up to the start of the NFL draft on Thursday. Matt joins us every Friday in the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. And Matt, as always, a pleasure. We'll do it again following round 1 next week.
Sounds great, Dan. Take care, everybody.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll step aside for a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap up this 3 o'clock hour with a quick round of On Second Thought on 580 Sports Talk. Well, on second thought, I thought the Royals would go 5-5 on this road trip. That's not happening. Not even if they went out this weekend. Best they can do is 4-6. It's been a rough ride, and the bats are the primary reason why. That's my on second thought for the week.
My on second thought is more of a long-term one. Dan and I were just talking about it during the commercial break. Chris Bryant, when he came up, it felt like he changed my life. Like I that's one of the. I'm not a prospect guy. Like I'll look at the big names, but I'm not looking at AA box scores or anything. Right? I did for this dude. And he won every award you could possibly win. MVP, World Series, same year, Rookie of the Year, Minor League Player of the Year, all of it. I really thought he was going to be a Hall of Famer, and his body has just betrayed him. And because his body betrayed him, his confidence has betrayed him. He's now on the injured list. What is the official name, Dan?
Lumbar degenerative disc disease.
Yeah, he's got back disease, which sounds funny.
Sounds really bad.
Yeah, but like it's horrible. I mean, it's a he has a degenerative back. Like, that's awful, man. I feel so much for a guy who's a great dude, good family man. But yeah, I thought he'd be one of the all-time greats. I don't know how much baseball left he has to play.
There are 3 years and $81 million on his contract after this season with the Rockies. And I think he and the owners of the club need to just come to a settlement and let that dude go be a family man. This is about like being able to have quality of life at this point. Quit putting your body through hell to play for the godforsaken Rockies and worry about your kids. Worry about like being able to pick your kids up.
I'm not kidding. He has had freak broken wrist jammed into a base. He has had broken face, and now he has back disease. I'm not kidding about any of these things.
Wow. Real quick on second thought.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought the Royals were going to have a positive road trip, even a 6-4 road trip, but that's not happening.
All right. Hey, brace yourself for nonstop adrenaline as PBR Knockout Kansas City showcases the toughest sport on dirt. The Kansas City Outlaws and Missouri Thunder take on 8 remaining teams going head-to-head for bragging rights. Thursday night, April 24th, the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. I've got a family 4-pack of tickets for PBR Knockout Kansas City, not Pabst Blue Ribbon. You're not getting knocked out on cheap beer. This is professional bull riders Knockout Kansas City. I'm going to give that 4-pack of tickets away right now to caller number 3 to 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-9429 if you want to go see the Bulls. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk is next. Let's get it. Second and final hour of this Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. Dan, Brendan, Spencer with you. We've got one more hour before we hand things off to Royals baseball. Rather than the usual 3-hour show, we've been short timers all week this week.
Yeah, the entire week.
To the point where doing a full 3 hours next Monday is going to feel like hard. Not like working in the mines, but hard as in you get used to only having to prepare 2 or 2.5 hours worth of show. So we'll have to get readjusted next week. But for now, again, we are off at 5 o'clock today to make way for Game 2 of the series between the Royals and the Tigers at Comerica Park in Detroit. So one more hour here with you on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on Facebook at WIBW News. In this final hour of the program today, we're going to talk a little Chiefs draft. We got some new buzz, some new intel from the folks at ESPN about what the Chiefs might be looking to do, and we'll talk about the idea of trading up. I've been a proponent of the Chiefs trading back, depending on how the draft board falls for them, because I do think they would benefit if they could grab an extra certainly day 2 pick if they could get one, but an extra day 3 or a couple extra day 3s, I think would help the Chiefs, particularly because good front offices, and the Chiefs have one of those, have a knack for finding contributors in day 3 of the draft. And I wouldn't mind having Brett Veach with the ability to take 2 more cracks at finding someone who can help the Chiefs on day 3. But what if instead, as he has been in the past, what if instead Brett Veach is aggressive and tries to move up the board? What might that look like, and who might be the target? We'll discuss that here in this 4 o'clock hour. We'll also crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You. We'll get to some 580 Sports Talk headlines, including a playoff roundup, and we're going to go on record because it gets going in earnest tomorrow. Round 1 of the NHL and the NBA playoffs start concurrently tomorrow. It is a veritable buffet of playoffs. Usually, I think the basketball playoffs have usually started earlier than the hockey playoffs. Maybe now with the play-in tournament, it's different.
It changes with the play-in.
I think the play-in has kind of blown that up, but like,
you a buffet guy? Like buffets? Not everyone does.
It depends. Like a Chinese buffet, thumbs up.
Okay, real quick. All right, you wanted to say something. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
I think it's wild. I don't remember the NHL playoffs being like this, but I was watching SVP last night, and he was going over with Butchergrass about the playoffs. It's like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all different series start. I feel like it's usually been like 2 days, and you get 2 series, or you get all the series over 2 days, and now it's over 4 days. I don't remember that.
Not gonna lie, I thought you were gonna say something about buffets.
Real quick hockey thought. Trevor in the YouTube comments says his first season as a Minnesota Wild fan. And Trevor, the good thing about being a Wild fan is you never have to watch more than the first round of the playoffs. That's the best thing about being a Wild fan.
I would make the same joke, but I gave up my hockey fandom a few years ago, so I'm not going to make a pro Blackhawks joke. In Evansville, Indiana, I'm not kidding. There is a Chinese buffet that's called Crazy Buffet.
I drove
there, past it, I think, every day.
I would go there religiously. I would trust the name. I would trust that it went crazy.
It's got to be a reasonable establishment for what it's worth, because you go to a real gross place and like you got kids sneezing in the mac and cheese. You got like a grown man putting his hand in the mashed potatoes, scooping it on his plate. Like I need it to be a reasonably okay establishment. I think you hurt poor Trevor's feelings, by the way.
I may have. I'm an Avs fan. I had to get that jab in on the Wild.
I think I said it a few weeks ago that when you have a kid, as many of you know, and you certainly know, like you just lose time to enjoy things or to try new things. And there are things I haven't gotten to watch any footy this year, any Aussie rules football. I haven't watched a second of it. But Lions got murdered the other night. Not great. Then there's things like hockey. Like every year I think, man, maybe this is the year I get into hockey. Nope, it's over. I will never be able to give myself a chance to get into hockey. It's over.
This is the least I've probably watched either of my my favorite NBA or NHL teams, even though they're on national TV quite a bit. Just had to kind of forfeit those. One, because, you sleep when baby sleeps.
Yeah. One, because baby.
Yes. And really, I don't need a number 2 or a number 3. That's the excuse right there. So, but I'm excited for the playoffs. I'll dial in for the playoffs for the Avalanche and the Nuggets, and hopefully both are in them for a long time. And if they're not, then I get more sleep. So really,
there you go.
It's a win-win. And those guys all have championship rings. They can't let me down. That is the beauty going into the playoffs. The core of my favorite teams cannot possibly let me down. They gave me what I wanted. I got what I wanted from those guys, and now I just need them to be a good time. And if they can be a good time for a few weeks, hey, man, I'm in.
There you go.
So, we'll get to that a little bit later on. We've got one more Choose Your Trip 2025 keyword to get to. It's the last one we're going to give you here on 580 Sports Talk. So it's your last chance to enter the keyword at 580wibw.com and get yourself registered for a chance to win a trip anywhere you want in the United States.
Like Aberdeen, South Dakota.
I have a buddy who did sports talk radio in Aberdeen for.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Play-by-play of a Presentation College, which I don't know.
PC.
Yeah. Are they still open, or did they just drop football?
I think they're open. We're all going to search for it at the same time.
No, they
wow.
They are closed. They are permanently closed.
Dude, the metadata when you search for them says, as of October 31st, 2023, Presentation College has ceased educational operations at the Aberdeen campus.
Yeah, that's tough.
There you go.
That's tough. Yeah, but no,
I remember learning about them when I went up there with Washburn.
Yeah, the Saints Presentation College.
Yeah.
So yeah, a buddy of mine was the voice of the Saints.
How about that?
For a while. So I know I've never been to Aberdeen, but that's my familiarity with Aberdeen.
I have. Don't go.
I was going to say spend a week in scenic Laramie, Wyoming.
It is scenic.
It is.
Because there's nothing else.
Yeah, you don't have to be there long to see all the sights. Anyhow, the keyword this hour to enter at 580wibw.com is a place you could select. Miami.
No way.
Miami.
Miami.
As in,
Miami.
Welcome to Miami. Bienvenido a Miami.
Dale.
Did you know Will Smith released a rap album last week?
Nope.
Yes.
Did not.
Yeah. Still in the game. It's a whole bunch of songs about how he's sorry he went and slapped Chris Rock.
Oh,
No
dear. Ooh, that's big
No
guy energy there.
It got like a 2.8 on Pitchfork.
I can't believe it got that high of a rating.
You're still trying to hear Will Smith rap in 2025?
Based on a true story.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Yeah, the true story of him slapping Chris Rock.
It also came out on March 28th.
Oh, wow. It came out that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow, Tan, out of touch.
Yeah, that's me. I'm very out of touch.
It has features on there. DJ Jazzy.
Yes,
Jeff,
DJ Jazzy Jeff. Yes, and
B.
the Fresh
Simon.
Fresh
Tiana
Prince.
Taylor. Big Sean's on a track.
Wow.
That's getting the kids into it now.
Obanga, Joyna Lucas, Indiana Martinez, Marcin, Friday, and Russ, Jaden, and I'm assuming Jaden is his son.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Probably.
And then Sunday Service Choir is on the song.
I'm
Heck of an album.
glad we know all of this.
So
Anyhow,
Miami is your
Miami
keyword.
is your keyword. Go enter at 580wibw.com. Click that link that says listen to win a trip anywhere in the U.S. You'll be prompted to enter the keyword. The keyword this hour is Miami. Get yourself registered for a chance to win your trip. Don't text us the keyword, but text us your thoughts. 785-272-9429. Can also get at us on the YouTube comments if you are watching on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk.
I'm sorry. If you're watching on the YouTube, I just freaked out. The Cubs were up 7-1, gave up a 10-run inning, and now themselves have scored a 5-run inning and are winning again. Here's the thing about Kyle Tucker. Your favorite baseball team probably doesn't have a player as good as him. Unless you are the Royals, in which case you do. Bobby Witt, one of the few players better than him.
Carson Kelly has 5 RBI.
2 home runs.
Carson Kelly's hitting like prime Mike Piazza.
Yes, it's going to end any minute, but I'm enjoying the ride while it's lasting with Carson Kelly.
Mark H. wants us to know in the YouTube comments that, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince back in 1988, they did have, I had the cassette, I believe it was, with, Parents Just Don't Understand. That was the song.
Nah. They don't understand.
Parents Just Don't Understand. That was a good one. Yeah, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. There's good stuff. There's some hits. Will Smith is not an incapable rapper. I'm just not trying to hear any more of his raps in 2025.
No, me either.
I'm not trying to hear struggle apology raps. No, thank you. Anyhow, let's talk some NFL draft.
Let's do it.
So the latest from ESPN's insiders.
All their draft guys.
Yes, the draft guys over at ESPN. This note particularly from Matt Miller, who we've referenced quite a bit in this pre-draft process. This is what he wrote earlier today at ESPN.com. Quote, I've heard that the Kansas City Chiefs are actively looking to trade up in round 1. They signed left tackle Jalen Moore in free agency, but were otherwise quiet, opting to re-sign their own versus hitting the open market. A move up in round 1 would likely be for a long-term offensive tackle solution. I heard the goal would be to move in front of the Texans at pick 25 and Rams at pick 26 if the Chiefs like a specific left tackle still on the board. Between this and all the mock drafts we're seeing, I got to believe that's Josh Simmons. I got to believe that Simmons is a guy who had top 10, top 15 buzz about him before the injury he suffered.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a believer that the injury is not a big deal and that he is the prospect that everyone felt like he was entering the 2024 college football season, then you probably, if you're a general manager, have him as a first-round talent on your board. And we know that Brett Veach's list of first-round talents on his board is not long. So if he feels like Josh Simmons is one of those guys and he's still out there at pick 23, 24, I think that's who, if the Chiefs move up, I think it is more likely if they move up, it is for an offensive tackle. Even though I agree with Matt Verderam's premise, where we talked to Matt on Monday, and we talked to him about something he said on the That Football Show podcast on KC Sports Network, where he said he would stake his reputation to the fact that he does not believe the Chiefs are going to draft an offensive tackle. And I believe in his premise, the premise being that the Chiefs gave Jalen Moore money to find out if he can start. And you're not going to find out if Jalen Moore can't start if he can't play.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's going to be your week 1 left tackle, why would you draft? Never mind, why would you draft? Why would you move up to draft somebody where the plan is you don't play them week 1? I don't believe in that. I really don't. I have trouble believing that the Chiefs would do that. But Brett Veach has more Super Bowl rings than me. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he's earned and assume that the Chiefs indeed like an offensive tackle prospect, whether it's Simmons, maybe it's Kelvin Banks from Texas, enough to make a move up. What would that move up look like? What framework would that take?
So, this idea, especially if it's Simmons, is so interesting because it doesn't, like, Matt Verderam on Monday went as far as to say, like, it's not happening. But, and he's super tied in with the Chiefs, we know that. Matt Miller also is, because he's a local guy. He's a Joplin guy. We know he's got ties with the Chiefs. He's made that clear in the past. This idea kind of, though, hits the sweet spot with a lot of the takes from these two respective guys. Heard the Chiefs want to move up. Okay, well, I heard the Chiefs didn't want to move up because they're not going to not play Jalen Moore. Well, here's the thing. If you go and get Simmons, you're under no pressure to play him right away. And I can understand, well, why would you move up and then not play the guy? I get that reasoning, but 2 reasons. One, if you think he is a long-term, no-doubt starter for your team, you know who's not going to be that for very long? Juwan Taylor. One way or the other, you're going to have an open tackle spot in 2026. One way or the other, whether Moore can play or not, one of the spots is going to be open. So you're going to need a guy then. And if you have Simmons, okay, well, if someone stinks and it's week 6, you know what? You can play him. You gave him some runway coming back from the injury, a severe injury, by the way. It's not like, oh, yeah, he had a high ankle sprain and he cost him some time. No, he tore his patellar tendon. That's an extremely serious injury. So you have some runway there. There's a lot of smoke about this. And if you want to get in front of 25 and 26, I actually think that both Green Bay at 23 and Minnesota at 24 make a lot of sense for different but similar reasons. For Green Bay's got plenty of picks, but loves to move back, add a day 2 guy, and then using extra day 2 picks to move forward again. Green Bay did that, in fact, in 2018 when it drafted Jair Alexander, and did it again, or tried to do it again, in 2022 when it drafted Christian Watson. Big fan of doing moves like that. The Vikings have 4 picks. Not in the first 2 rounds, not in the top 100. They have 4 picks total. It is the fewest of anyone in the league. And I think the players that make the most sense for Minnesota, the safeties or corners who maybe have some questions about them but would fit with Brian Flores, are all going to be available at the end of the first round. Like Malachi Starks or Nick Iamanawuri, I don't know if I got his name right, from South Carolina, the safeties who are like super athletes, they'll be there at the end of the first round. So I think Minnesota makes a lot of sense. Green Bay, you probably have to take like a slightly smaller payout, but you could get to 23rd with them as well. I think you might be able to move just pick 66 and do it. I really think that might be enough to move up. Last year, there was a trade. The Detroit Lions moved up from 29 to 24. So 2 spots ahead of where the Chiefs are now, but to the same spot, 24, in exchange for pick 73, and then they got back a future 7th rounder. You might not have to do anything else if you said, hey, we're going to make essentially the same trade, but give you a better 3rd round pick. Well, we're going to give you a pick 7 spots better and just say that's it. I think you could make that move just for that pick. And if I'm the Chiefs, if that's all I had to give up and I knew I was getting a franchise cornerstone kind of player, I would entertain making that move. I would seriously consider trading up for that value.
If you feel strongly that that is one of the 12 or 13 guys on your board who is a first-round player, then yeah, that's a move worth making, because we saw them do this with the Trent McDuffie trade. And they did that for 2 reasons. One, they wanted to get in front of Buffalo, who also needed a corner in that draft. And they ended up with Kaiir Elam, and that's very funny. The Chiefs certainly made out a little better in that exchange. But the other part was they had McDuffie with a 1st-round grade. And so they went up and they got a guy they believed was a 1st-round talent. And Trent McDuffie has been precisely that in his first 3 NFL seasons. So if they've got a 1st-round grade on somebody, if they got the 1st-round grade on Josh Simmons, I see the vision. Like, I understand. Like, you can make that process make sense to me, even if I think that this is a team that, and I'm with Tyler on this in the YouTube comments. Tyler says you think it's better to move back in this draft, see if you can fleece somebody for a couple of picks or picks on day 2. Like, I understand the compulsion to, if you move back 4 spots, but you add an extra day 3 pick. Like, I like that. Brett Veach has a lot of credit with me, a lot of equity when it comes to finding rotational players, or even more than that, on the 3rd day of the NFL draft. I wouldn't mind that as a strategy, but certainly if Brett Veach and his scouting staff have been pounding the table for a 1st-round talent, they believe that Josh Simmons is that, and that coming off the injury he's coming off of, he can benefit from the quote-unquote red shirt year, and then he starts for you as a 2nd-year guy in 2026, and you still have 4 years of team control. All right, yeah, I see it, I get it, and I think that is probably worth that early 3rd rounder.
Let me ask you a question of value, because I think, was it Tyler you were responding to in the YouTube? I think this is an interesting question in that regard. Just give it, like, about the Chiefs roster building long term. What do you, and this isn't rhetorical, it's a genuine question of opinion. What do you think is more valuable for the Chiefs right now? Taking a shot at getting a guy who, again, like, foundational franchise cornerstone, like elite, long-term, multiple contracts left tackle, for example, or maybe it is even, Chris Jones, true replacement, like guy we want for a decade, or trading back, getting another day 2 pick, and having a shot at another like good rotational piece and having more of those types of guys. So fewer rotation guys, but maybe a cornerstone, or frankly, a lot of good rotational fringe starter kind of players.
See, you can argue me into both, and I do think this team, as currently constructed, needs a lot of depth. But at the same time, I keep coming back to the phrase, you win games with dudes, and you don't have a lot of chances to get dudes if you're in the AFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl every year, and you're picking 29th through 32nd in the first round. Typically, that is not where you find dudes. So if the opportunity presents itself to go get somebody you feel like is that kind of talent, that's the kind of aggressiveness we've seen Brett Veach showcase in the draft, and that's why it shouldn't surprise anybody if that's what they end up doing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
We're going to take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, we're going to crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You here on 580 WIBW. It's a Friday, so it's time to crown a champion for the week on What Is Wrong With You, sponsored by the homie Mo, State Farm agent Ryan. Mo Winkle, Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. Why don't you give him a call, 785-273-1572. Maybe not like right now. Maybe he's got the day off for Good Friday or something, but I don't know. Give him a call, 785-273-1572. See what he can do for you. He's a solid dude. He'll help you out. Our current weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You is our Monday winner, Get a Room. The woman who kept booking and canceling hundreds of false hotel reservations at the same hotel. More than 400 false hotel reservations at the Carlisle, Pennsylvania Comfort Suites.
Insane.
Making some of the fraudulent reservations under the names of local law enforcement, including a top prosecutor who had died the year before. And when they asked the woman if she knew about his passing, her response was, quote, "You mean his demise?" I would have put her in jail just for that.
Yeah.
No
I would have put
kidding.
her under the jail. You say something like that. Anyway, yeah, she kept getting in trouble and asked not to make fake reservations, and she kept doing it. Part of her bail conditions after she was arrested this month was that she was not allowed to make reservations within a 200-mile radius, and she made 96 of them the next weekend. This woman is nuts. Anyhow, that's our current champ. You guys have the stories today. Spencer, I'll let you go first.
All right, we're going to Orlando, Florida. An Orlando man is facing charges after he falsely impersonated a law enforcement officer while confronting a Walmart truck driver he suspected was involved in human trafficking, the Orange County Sheriff's Office said. On Wednesday, deputies responded to a Walmart on Curry Ford Road in Orlando to a report of an individual impersonating a sheriff's deputy. Upon arrival, deputies met the victim, who provided both a verbal and sworn written statement detailing the encounter. According to the arrest affidavit, the victim reported that around 8 a.m. he parked his delivery truck in the loading area of the store. Shortly thereafter, a man, later identified as Michael Diaz, 51, approached his vehicle and knocked on the window, where he claimed to be a sheriff's deputy, and presented a business card featuring Florida Sheriff's Association logo. Diaz then requested the victim's driver's license and instructed him to exit the vehicle. The victim complied, but became suspicious when he noticed that Diaz was not wearing a gun or radio belt. After requesting to see Diaz's badge and beginning to call 911, Diaz entered a silver Ford Explorer and drove away, the affidavit states. Moments later, deputies located Diaz at an intersection. Following a positive identification, he was arrested. During questioning, he claimed that he believed the Walmart delivery driver was involved in human trafficking and that his Florida Sheriff's Association card granted him the authority to conduct investigations. It was noted that Diaz displayed signs of alcohol consumption during the incident, the affidavit states. Diaz was arrested and booked into Orange County Jail. He was charged with falsely impersonating a law enforcement officer and had an active warrant for felony burglary at the time of the arrest.
So I went to flsheriffs.org. Any old person can be an honorary member of the Florida Sheriff's Organization. Memberships start at $25, and you get a membership card.
Oh,
you also get 2 exclusive window decals, annual subscription to quarterly magazines, access to the weekly Insight e-newsletter, and the Member Perks exclusive discount program.
this sounds like one of the scam organizations in the documentary Telemarketers on, I think it was HBO. Really good if you want to be irritated.
You ever get a call from like the Fraternal Order of Police?
Yeah, it's exactly about those groups.
Yeah,
yes.
Trying to get you to become a member. Yeah.
Are you the head of the household?
Yeah. Yeah. Yikes. $25. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So for $25, that guy could just confront a deputy, a delivery driver, and say you're trafficking. Like
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why we hadn't had a impersonating an officer of the law story in a while. It's good to get back into that genre.
That's what we should have like weekly to keep us regular.
Go ahead, Brendan, your story.
All right. So if you ever played the Grand Theft Auto video games, you could, actually play the story mode. You could just run around and kind of play sandbox style, or you could find the cheat codes, which would just unlock all the guns for you, all the weapons. So we're going to meet a 34-year-old man who entered the cheat code for Grand Theft Auto, but kind of in real life. We're going to Trenton, New Jersey, where a Florida man has been indicted for allegedly bringing multiple weapons, including assault weapons with large-capacity ammunition magazines, a silencer, and a booby-trapped rifle on an Amtrak train. This is 34-year-old Jeffrey Kennerk of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who was arrested. This is back in January. The investigation began when New Jersey Transit Police were notified of an unattended zebra print bag at Newark Penn Station all the way on January 3rd. According to an indictment, when police inspected the bag, they found a Glock handgun case containing a handgun with a fully loaded 18-round magazine, an AR-style magazine loaded with a 223 rifle rounds, a plastic bag with a shirt, and 2 boxes labeled for 9mm bullets and other ammunition. Another zipped compartment of the bag had a pink duffel bag inside with another AK-47 style rifle with 1 round loaded into the chamber and multiple magazines. That's a lot of guns. While reviewing footage from surveillance, police saw a man wearing a black jacket and red pants carrying 2 suitcases, including the zebra print one. He was then seen going to the Amtrak ticket window and was seen boarding a train destined for Virginia. When he arrived in Trenton, two police officers boarded. They approached Kennerk, and he allegedly showed them a valid Amtrak ticket, but for a different train. He allegedly told officers he boarded the wrong train and he was waiting to board the correct one, which was coming within the hour. However, before that train arrived, Trenton officers were notified that he was the person of interest in this other dropped suitcase issue. That's when the officers saw Kennerk trying to board a train. They were able to stop him and placed him under arrest. While they had him under arrest, they searched the bag still with them, and you'll never believe it, guys. They found more guns. Wow. An AR-15 style rifle separated into two different pieces, multiple caches of ammo, multiple extended magazines, and multiple handguns. They then found another gun on his person, and while removing that rifle, they found multiple handkerchiefs wrapped around the trigger.
When one of the officers attempted to remove one of them, it discharged. That was the booby-trapped gun.
He knew he was getting caught and was like, yeah, check this gun.
So, like, we can state plainly that if you have that many guns on your person and you're going somewhere to, you have those to, like, kill people, like that, like you are planning on carrying out some kind of a massacre. Like that was what was prevented here by the police and the law enforcement.
The police did a tremendous job.
A lot of people were going to die because this guy just, who knows? We have no idea who this guy is, what he was planning. His manifesto's not out there, but you don't travel with that kind of, unless you are A, like an arms dealer in a James Bond movie, or B, you want a lot of people to die.
You have heard, if you've listened to the show enough times, you have heard the stances of this program. We are not gun owners ourselves. I do not plan to be, but you're going to follow the law. You're going to be safe with it. You're going to follow, the right protocols. Fine. That's fine. That is within your rights. Cool. Yes. Not a problem with me.
This is not an anti-Second Amendment radio program.
If you're carrying this many rifles,
that is an arsenal.
Yeah, that is legit an arsenal.
That is that's terrifying.
Yeah. I can't pick
hidden in duffel bags.
I can't pick that one to win. I have to go with
Spencer's is funnier.
The fake cop, but I can't pick either of those stories over our woman who just kept going back to make more fake reservations.
Yeah, that's a dark horse like Final Four contender.
Costing herself money in the process. Like it costs you money to make reservations and then they don't get booked, but it costs the hotel more money.
That wins. That wins the week.
Get a Room is our weekly champ. Again, What Is Wrong With You is sponsored by our buddy Ryan Mo Winkle, State Farm agent. Go to his website, ryanmowinkle.com, and see what he can do for you. We'll take a break, come back with a brief round of 580 Sports Talk headlines, including a playoff roundup. That's next as we wind down this shortened edition of 580 Sports Talk. 441 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan, Brendan, Spencer with you. Text the show 785-272-9429. We got a playoff roundup coming in a bit. Want to know if we got some NBA or NHL fans out there who you're rooting for. I know we got some Blues fans that listen fairly regularly. We've heard it from a couple of Blues fans on the YouTube comments.
I think you've got a few Avs fans nearby.
Avs fan or two has checked in.
I mean, they're the
overtime.
second. Are they the second closest team? No, I guess Dallas is technically closer.
I think Dallas is closer.
Yeah.
Avs Stars first round matchup.
I mean, Dallas, Chicago, Denver, and Minneapolis are all almost the same distance away.
Yeah.
They're all like 7.5 to 8.5 hours.
Roughly. Yeah. From here for sure. So yeah, if you've got a team you're behind for the NBA or NHL playoffs, just out of curiosity, since this is not the biggest NHL or NBA market in the world, let us know. Out of curiosity, text the show 785-272-9429 or drop them in the YouTube comments on our YouTube channel 580 Sports Talk. We'll get to the playoff roundup in a bit, but we got some other headlines first. And Brendan, I'm going to let you go first with some news about a former Washburn Ichabod.
Yes, Braden Shorter, who this past season not only led Washburn in three-point shooting, but was also number 1 in all of Division II in three-pointers made. He has committed to Murray State. Kind of a surprise. I will say this. I did not have any intel on his recruitment process or anything. I was expecting he was going to end up at Missouri State. I really thought he was going to end up playing for Quanzo Martin and the Bears. He's from Springfield. His dad was an athlete at Missouri State. Braden was the Springfield City Player of the Year his senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who was the Player of the Year after him played 1 year at Missouri Southern, and this offseason transferred to Missouri State. So I thought they might kind of be pushing for hey, let's get all the local kids back in the fold, kind of playing here, and Braden might end up there. Ends up at Murray State, which is a good program, one of the best programs, historically speaking, that had reached out to him. They've built a pretty impressive portal roster, actually, all things considered. He's going to make him better. He's going to be the best shooter on that team, without question. So I'm happy for Braden. He's going to make an impact at Murray State. Obviously, it still stinks for Washburn that he transferred out, but he's going to make an impact there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wishing Braden all the best of luck. He is there's no doubt about it, a Division I caliber shooter, and will be definitely following Murray State with a little bit more curiosity.
Oh, no doubt.
Forward, to see how he does. Congratulations to him on choosing his destination. Spencer, you've got a headline, an NFL draft-related headline for us.
Yes, I do. The NFL Legends active players are among players to announce selections during the 2025 NFL Draft. A whole list here. The Green Bay Packers.
These guys do rounds 2 and 3 for the draft. It's who's done it for the Chiefs before. There have been a number of guys who have done it. Commanders have had guys.
Didn't Patrick Mahomes do it?
I don't think Mahomes has ever announced a pick. No.
I guess no. He must have come out then.
Yeah.
When they were in Kansas City, he came out and said something.
Yeah, because they have Goodell do the first round, obviously, and then they have hometown favorite Drew Pearson famously came out for the Cowboys a few years ago. Yeah. So who are some of the big names who are doing it this year?
Well, I was going to say the Packers have 3. I would assume is that just
6 actually. This image on the link we have is not in full. The Packers actually have 6 guys who are doing it.
On the NFL website, it's only showing 3.
Kramer, did they actually trim it down to 3? Okay.
It has Jerry Kramer, Jordy Nelson, and Dave Robinson.
Jerry Kramer and Dave Robinson, of course, names from NFL championship teams of the
Hall
past.
of Famers.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I saw a list that had other Packers included too. But no, that's fine.
And then for the Chiefs, it is the one and the only Dante Hall.
The human joystick.
Love Dante Hall.
Man, he
was such a good player.
I will never forget. Chiefs fans know the highlight. I think they lost the game, but the Chiefs fans remember the play where they were at Denver and he took a swing pass and he made everybody miss and ran up the sideline for a touchdown. I was at that game. And I remember like the look, like the ooh and the awe. Like there was nobody was mad. I was sitting in the south stands at the Mile High Stadium, the new Mile High, and like nobody was upset. They were all like, "Wow, that was one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen," and it's one of the best plays I've ever seen in person.
Yeah,
Dante Hall rules.
Newly retired Patrick Peterson will announce the Cardinals pick.
Yeah, he just retired this week.
Yeah. Lynn Swan's going to announce the Steelers pick. Gary Clark going to announce the Commanders pick. Sean Alexander is going to announce the Seahawks pick.
Hey.
Let's see who any big names will just
lot of
Joe
former-
Thomas is going to announce the Browns pick.
Chief Super Bowl champion Melvin Gordon going to announce the Chargers pick in the second or third
A lot
round.
of former Badgers.
Yes.
lot of folks with ties to Wisconsin. Alec Ingold is going to announce the Dolphins pick.
13 day 2 announcers attended the University of Wisconsin.
Recently retired Ryan Ramchick will announce the Saints pick.
Makes sense.
Lee Evans will announce the Bills pick.
Bo Allen for the Eagles.
Tim Crumry for the Bengals. He's a Wisconsin native.
Yeah, additionally, so 13 day 2 announcers went to the University of Wisconsin. 7 additional presenters are from the state of Wisconsin.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
Yeah, really neat stuff. Steve Wisniewski, whose son won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
Stephen.
Yeah, he'll announce the Raiders pick.
How about that?
Trying to think if there's any other local possible ties.
I
here.
think
don't
it's
see
very
any.
funny. Like all these legends are going to be doing it, but a few teams are sending current players for some reason. Like the Lions are sending Terry and Arnold. He is going to get booed so loudly, so very intensely. Wisconsin's kind of a huge state to only have one FBS football team.
Yeah, that's true. But like
one Division I football team, period.
Well, I mean, their D3s function essentially like D2s.
Well, yeah, I mean, Wisconsin Whitewater is huge.
Yes.
It is a very large university.
Wisconsin Whitewater could be competitive in like the MAC.
It would.
It
would certainly be competitive in the
you,
MAC.
You know, like St. Thomas moved up from Division 3 to Division 1, and like they almost went to the NCAA tournament this year. And they're one of the like outstanding athletic departments still in D1. Whitewater could do that. And a couple of those other, like Wisconsin Stevens Point is usually really good. Like those Wisconsin schools are something different. All right, it's time for the playoff roundup. Spencer, hit me.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
We will know officially the NBA's playoff field after tonight's games. The play-in tournament concludes with a pair of games tonight determining the 8th seed in each conference. First, in Atlanta tonight, the Hawks take on the Heat. And then in Memphis, the Grizzlies will battle the Mavericks. These games are gross, and neither of these teams has a chance against the respective 1 seed in either conference. I will say, like, Dallas and Memphis was like terrible vibes. Ja Morant's not 100%.
I think the Mavericks are probably going to win. I think
Dallas wins.
Yeah.
And I'll go with Miami because Heat culture is made for something like the play-in. I'll go with the road teams tonight.
I'm going with the Hawks to win that one because Tyler Hero scored 38 points against the Bulls in the first play-in game. I think it's far more likely he kills the Heat than he saves them in a second straight game.
The NHL playoffs kick off tomorrow with a pair of games. The Western Conference first round will get underway. The number 1 overall seed, the President's Trophy winners, the Winnipeg Jets, take on the upstart St. Louis Blues, who are the hottest team in hockey for the better part of the last 2 months. And then it's a series that many believe will produce the Stanley Cup champion, 2 of the best teams in the West playing in the first round. I hate the format that the NHL, they've done this divisional format for years, and it gives you really good first round matchups, but Avalanche Stars is good enough to be a conference final. Spencer, you're very familiar with this because the Capitals used to play like really good teams in rounds 1 and 2. So the knock on them for years was, well, they can't get to a conference final. Well, they were losing conference final caliber series. It was just happening in the first and second round because of the format. So it's given us, again, a great first round series in Avs Stars, but a really good team is going to go home early. Then on Sunday, a third of the Western series will get underway as the Vegas Golden Knights host the Minnesota Wild. The Eastern playoffs on Sunday, Carolina and New Jersey, Toronto and Ottawa in the Battle of Ontario. The rest of the series will get underway in the intervening days. So the bracket looks like this: out west, Jets, Blues, Stars, Avs, Golden Knights Wild, and then Kings Oilers is the other first-round series. Kings are the higher seed there. Over in the Eastern Conference, you have Leafs, Senators, Lightning, Panthers in the Battle of Florida on the top of the bracket. The top seed in the East, Spencer's beloved Capitals, taking on the Montreal Canadiens, and then Hurricanes, Devils. Quickly, give me a Stanley Cup champion. Who wins? Who they beat?
Capitals beat the Avs.
We would not be on speaking terms for the better part of that series. I'm just going to warn you now. The Avs are the Vegas betting favorites, which I did not realize. I do think whoever wins that Stars-Avs series is going to win the West. I got the Maple Leafs coming out of the East. I just think, if not now, when for them, which is a very silly thing to think. But
hey, more power to you.
Yeah, I'll go Avs over Leafs. You got to pick?
Yes, Vegas over Carolina.
Vegas over Carolina.
Just because hockey fans will continue to be so pissed that Vegas keeps winning. We're destined to do this forever.
I'm not upset about their market size. I'm just upset because they're not a pleasant team to watch play hockey, and they have no likable players.
I didn't realize it. Should we also pick an NBA champion too?
Yes.
The real playoffs begin tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. The real playoffs begin tomorrow in the NBA. First round action: Denver and the Clippers, the Lakers and the Timberwolves, the Pacers and the Bucks, and the Knicks and the Pistons all play tomorrow. So in the Western Conference, you have the Thunder and then either the Mavericks or the Grizzlies. The Nuggets and the Clippers is the 4-5 series. Denver's the 4. The 3-seed Lakers take on the 6-seed Timberwolves, and the 2-seed Rockets play the 7-seed Warriors. In the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers are the number 1 seed. They take on either the Hawks or the Heat. The 4-seed is Indiana. The Pacers, they play the 5-seed Milwaukee Bucks. The 3-seed Knicks, the 6-seed Pistons, and then the 2-seed, the defending champion Celtics, take on the number 7 seed Orlando Magic. Brendan, I'll let you start. Give me a finals matchup.
I know you don't believe in the Thunder, and I think it's totally fair not to. I am going to give them the good vibes benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say Thunder in 7 over the Celtics.
Thunder in 7 over the Celtics. Spencer, you got to pick?
I'm going Celtics over Thunder in 7.
Whoa!
I am going to take. Make it a homer pick. What the hell? Celtics over Nuggets in 6. I do think the Celtics are going to win it all. I've been on the Thunder are foul baiting merchants, and
that's fair.
And their depth won't matter in the playoffs. They have 11 really good players. It doesn't matter how good are your best 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And I still think Denver and the Lakers have the best 3 or 4 man cores in the playoffs. So yeah, I'll say. Denver's obviously my team, so I'm picking them. Screw it. Great Life. Be a member today. They've got affordable memberships for everyone, fitness, golf enthusiasts, and if you're both, the all-inclusive membership is the way to go. Go to greatlifetopeka.com to learn more and become a member today. We'll take a timeout, wrap up this shortened edition of 580 Sports Talk next. Time to wrap up the week on 580 Sports Talk. Royals baseball coming up next. So, Brendan Dworzinski, give me a final word.
Final word for me today is that I'm kind of running out of opportunities to say I'm optimistic the Royals are going to get this figured out. Tonight's a good opportunity. Jackson Jobe doesn't strike a lot of guys out, and he does walk a lot of guys. Should have some opportunities to get on base here. You've got your ace on the mound. Find a way. Figure it out to get it done. Otherwise, I'm not sure this group can do it.
Spencer.
While I don't think the Chiefs are going to draft a left tackle or a tackle in round one, I do like the idea of the redshirt year kind of essentially for a right tackle spot for Jawan Taylor next year. That'd be cool if you get your guy. You got 4 years left of him after you give him a year to develop. I like it.
Final word for me. If you see bags that develop under my eyes in the next couple of weeks, that means I'm up late night watching my favorite NBA and NHL teams in the playoffs because they start their games late. And that is the worst part about rooting for teams in time zones to the West. So pardon my disheveled appearance if it does, in fact, get there. I hope to stay looking that disheveled all the way through the month of June. Royals baseball coming up, 5:40 first pitch. Reagans and Jobe, the pitching matchup. Pre-game coverage starting in just a matter of minutes. We're back on Monday from 3 to 6. For Spencer and Brendan, I'm Dan. Have a great weekend and a happy Easter. Good night!